Hello, it's the normal playing guy, and today, we have an interesting video coming up for you. Super Saiyan Goku, what a name. Relaxing time spent in the mountains. Another standalone Super Saiyan Goku. This was a free unit back in 2023, very quickly getting an easy A. There are a few other free-to-play people that are needing of this, but hey, why not? So we'll quickly run through. We'll give you an idea of what he's like. This is my first time reading it myself. And of course, I'll go through his links, his best people, teams, and how you will build him. And I also have, for an experiment on this video, we have a guest. I have someone dear to me who has dabbled within the docking arts, so to speak. But I'll be getting a completely, more or less, outside person's view as an idea of what this unit looks like to them. So, without further ado, Goku's family, 3 key 77%, but that's as always, or AGL type 50%. Now, honestly, even this, or any of this, will be capable of taking you through the quest mode, so fear not for you free-to-play people, right? So you can have a Super Saiyan Goku right off the bat. So we have an entrance animation, and we recover 10% HP at the end of your attacking turn. All allies get 1 key for 4 turns from the entry turn when there is another Earthbred fighters on the team. So that's great. So basically for 4 turns, you're giving everyone plus 1 key. Plus 1 key is nothing special. Earthbred fighters is a very common thing to get with this guy, so I doubt that it's going to be really too difficult. So hey, you'll probably see that 9 times out of 10. So we have 159% at the start of turn. That's nice. 100% the stats on super attack. Your super attack effect greatly raises attack and defense, as well as healing 10% HP. So we get the heal. I mean, this is once only, right? But you get the 10% by the end of your super attacks. You're doing 10% per. This could be an interesting unit. So you get stats, we get an additional extra, and we get 50% to stats on super attack effect and heal. Recovers 10% HP if HP is 90% or less. We guard all attacks if HP is 60% or less, and get an additional 15 HP back, and an additional super attack if the HP is under 30% or less. There's a lot going on to this. So chances are you'll get this, again, 9 times out of 10, right? 10% HP at the 90% or less. Bear in mind, every super attack gives you 10% HP, there you go. And you get this at the start of the turn if you enter the turn. And then you guard if you're 60% or less, which I feel like, again, is quite often, right? Because you can take a few hits, Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, how 1 punch in Extreme Super Battle Road and it's GG, right? So, I mean, like, you having guard potentially at the start of your turn is something you can rely on. This and the guaranteed additional super attack, of which greatly raises and still heals, is really good. My only worry is you fall below 30% HP, you get the additional HP healing, right, which is really nice. But would you not out heal yourself because you're getting 10%? This goes up to 10 plus 15. So I mean it's absolutely crazy. So you'll be healing loads and loads back. Potentially you could outdo yourself. Bond of parent and child category allies, 2 key 30%. That's actually no joke. 2 key there is perhaps the most important part of this, but even it's like bond of parent and child is, I mean, it's a pretty potent category anyway, so to give him this buff is pretty nuts. My only worry is you need to find a correlation between Earthbred fighters and bond of parent. So that's the only problem. Now, of course, if we're talking Gohan and Goten, yes, that will be a thing, which might be how it's based around. An additional damage reduction of 30% when your guard is activated, for which you'll get that if you're under 60% HP. So that further makes this guy a really defensive unit. You get an additional attack 59% when performing a super attack if there's another Goku family member in the same turn. Okay, so that makes sense with this, right? Because you'll be giving them, like a Gohan or the Goten, 2 key 30%. They would belong to Earthbred fighters, and you'd be getting you'll be getting extra attack, which is nice. This is pretty good, right? So as it ties in with this, whenever it's activated, you get further damage reduction. Seriously, this guy could tank a super attack from Cell Max, the hardest thing in the game, in his SSR form. So this guy really could just be such a clincher for a lot of difficult content. But yes. So let's have a look at his links, his teams, his best people, and how you build him. So Android Cell Saga, of course, Pure Saiyans, of course, Goku Family, Super Saiyans, Bond of Master, Bond of Friendship, Bond of Parent, Rapid Growth, Turtle, Tournament Participants, Earthbred, Accelerated Battle, and Heavenly Events. Now I like to look at the ones that are, well, terrible really. So we're talking like Turtle School, because there's only one 200% lead. And it's, outside of that, there's no real lead except for Yamcha. We're talking Heavenly Events, Accelerated Battle, Tournament Participants, sure. But like these green ones here could be really good. Rapid Growth, is one that is really difficult. So again, having that, his defensive viability, his likely good links being Saiyan based could be extremely useful. Would you run him on Pure Saiyans? Hard to say, because it's a Super Saiyan Goku, and there are quite a few other top tier LRs with that name. So honestly, you'd only run him if you didn't have him. Same goes for Pure Saiyans, Goku Family, Super Saiyans, like all of them. If you didn't, I suppose the only people who wouldn't have a Super Saiyan Goku would be the newer people, right? If you don't have, say, a few years ago now, the Super Saiyan Goku versus Cooler. Like, you don't have him. The year before that, we've got the one against Frieza. And then you've got the movie hero Goku, right? So they're all Super Saiyan Gokus, all have easy A's or whatever. So they're all pretty potent, right? So, again, there are a few teams which he might just not have the caliber for. But again, maybe. Okay, so Golden Warrior, same warrior race, all in the family, Super Saiyan, Z Fighters, Prepare for Battle, and Shattering the Limit. Now, in terms of Prepare for Battle and Shattering the Limit, giving you 2 key 5% to both, and is extremely common. You'll be able to share 2 key 10% to stats for quite a lot of people. All in the family is a Goku-specific link, so again, that you'd actually be able to trigger almost 30% defense on a dude who reduces damage and guards and greatly raises defense. So this could be actually really a good unit. Because it's a Super Saiyan Goku, it's not really the greatest amount of people here that you can actually have a look at. So the best link in person, Earthbred Fighters, yep. So Earthbred Fighters would be these two. So again, we are strictly talking possibly Goku and Gohan. So again, we're talking all in the family, Prepare for Battle, and Shattering the Limit. Who's a good one that you can use? This and the LR equivalent, all in the family being a really good one. Earthbred Fighters. And again, the LR equivalent, who is still a spicy sausage to this day. We're talking all in the family, Prepare for Battle. So again, that's really good. And hey, the new Super Vegeta that's just come out. Who we got? Shattering the Limit. So you can at least share a little bit of stats. So there's a few good units in here, but again, of noticeable note, it's difficult to work it around. I mean, like, there are some decent units from a few years ago, but to keep up with the meta, there's not a lot of people on here I'd legitimately would consider running in teams, except for these two. Let's see, this guy, of course, and this guy's pretty decent. So there's a few options here. So that now brings us to, how do you build this guy, right? So I probably, admittedly, it's going to be straight up additional, because I don't think, Dodge, I don't think could really factor this guy in too well. And I certainly don't think crit. I don't think he's going to have the punching power for crits, really. He has a little bit of, there is plenty off attack, there's no doubt. The main gimmick of this guy is it's his HP. It's his HP healing. He gets it start of turn, he gets it on super attack effect, he gets quite a lot of stats on super attack effect. So I would say, to maximize this guy, it's just going to be 100% additional, as much as you can, and hell, if you must, go for the potential recovery system as well, because the amount of healing he could potentially get from orbs, because he's gonna be good, right? And he can even go for type defense, but additionals is going to be absolute must. And honestly, I could see this guy being an absolute slayer. Just if you did an additional, you would heal 20%. Now, I don't. There is conditions, so potentially you could do 3 super attacks. That's 30% healing, which is absolutely nuts, right? And then you could also get potentially you could have a hidden potential system pop in. I mean, you could have like 30-40% healing, and you could do like 3 or 4 super attacks, and that's half your health back nearly. It's a third of your health back. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, that would be one way of how you build him. So as this brings me now to my next part. So I've been playing myself docking for God knows how long, and I have someone here with me who has been playing it a little bit, and I'm curious to know from their point, because they know a bit about this, and they've heard me prattle on for ages. So I'm curious to know, is this a unit that is easy to understand? Does it look good? Is it worthy bringing back? So I'll open up the floor. So just before we do, this will be this person's first time on this video, so this will be a brilliant experiment. So I'll open up the mic. Is this a unit that you like the look of? Is this actually something that you find that's easy to understand?
I feel like no. Everything you've just discussed, like it's a whole lot of numbers and it takes a lot of understanding of the game before you actually. I mean, that's just me though.
Right, a whole lot of numbers is probably right.
It's very overwhelming in that sense.
Overwhelming.
But if you like for example, for beginners, and I played a few, I kind of understand and know where to go to, like if I want to do something during the game. But how you discuss things, like it's just a lot of numbers and percentage.
So you can't really be bothered to understand it too much.
I think.
Admittedly, as I've been saying in my other videos, this has become an essay. I mean, I've seen university submissions that are shorter than this. The numbers are pretty nuts, right? Because we're talking 159%, 100%, 10% over 90%, additional 15% over 30%. So admittedly, there are quite a lot of numbers. But you're saying as like a person who's dabbled and a person who is more or less considered new, this is too much?
Yeah. If you could just summarize that, I think that would be better. But like, 'cause I could read it from here, then I could summarize it in my head. It's actually a good unit because of the defense and attack and all the passive skills listed in that.
Yeah.
But like listening to it, it's just numbers. I would, yeah.
As a person then who doesn't have much in the way of knowing who's a meta relevant unit, defense is an all important part of this game. People love guard and we love defensive units. As I prattle on about what goes on with this, do you get the impression that this is a defensive based unit?
Yeah, just because of the defense, attack, and everything in there. Yeah.
So based on the guard and all, that's pretty good. This is a free-to-play unit as well, and from an experienced player, this is a pretty solid unit. I can see this being a clincher in quite a few of the noticeable teams here, like Rapid Growth is an absolute pain of a category, Accelerated Battle and Heavenly Events. Like Heavenly Events were basically that includes the Boo Saga, and this is a Cell Saga unit. Where Accelerated Battle can be anything between Tournament of Power and Dragon Ball Super versus this guy in particular. So again, it's a bit of a mix, and not a lot of people have a right amount of links. They just don't go together. That's why I was saying the most important ones here. These two are fairly common. So when it comes to links and when it comes to teams, as a player, so we already know that a lot of players, they won't read this. They know it's a free to play, and they get the gist. It's a good unit, but they don't read any of this. Do you pay attention to any of these links?
Well, truthfully, I would read the passive skills bef- prior to this. It takes a whole lot of understanding um, to go into categories and teams because it's just not like it doesn't make sense on my end.
So when you filter for when you play the game and you just filter by category, you're just doing it just because it's the easiest way around. You're not actually aware of who goes in.
Yeah, and I feel like I have the unit that I need, and I have all the keys I need. So as long as I win, I don't. I wouldn't really bother with the teams.
All right. And one last question. This is a pretty solid unit. Now, this is actually, in fact, it's so good. It's almost on par with an LR. Would you believe that? Funny enough, this is a unit who can actually probably outperform the likes of like LR Int Goku, who's by now is probably about 3 years old, which is not much terribly young older than this guy, but he's an LR. Would you believe that this guy is on paper better for a free to play unit?
With what I'm seeing, yeah.
Yeah, all right, that's something.
I mean, with the passive skill, yeah.
So there we have it. So this is it's a so we have a free to play unit that's got a awakening and an EZA straight off the bat, and we have an idea from a newish person who's dabbled as an idea of what all of this means, no matter what. And what we can basically sum up is this means nothing. It means nothing. It's just numbers. It's difficult. It would take literally a fan and a dedicated person to actually understand this. But hey, it's a good one to actually know for the future. So anyway, I like this guy. You can let me know if you like him or you don't. But hey, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, brilliant. And if you didn't, well, that sucks to be you. But I'll see you next time. Thank you and bye bye.